Hello, Annihilation Nation. We have a game for you tonight. Tonight's game is going to be Rulers Authority versus Ronin Warriors. My name's Alex. I'll be your host, and to help me break down all the action, I got the one, the only, Patty.
Hello, hello. Happy
And
to be
making
here.
this and making this all possible is the wonderful Space doing the broadcasting and the hosting of the lobby. So thank you, Space. But Patty, these two
W's.
teams coming in Ruler's Authority 0-1 with a map differential of 3. So a really tough loss them. Ronin coming in 1-2 with a map differential of 2. So they did get a very convincing win. Why don't you break these two teams down?
Well, Ruler's Authority is from an org that I know very well. Quick Feet, he's dominant tank. Very solid lineup on Ruler's Authority. Ronin Warriors, I truly don't know much about, but they seem to be also very promising team and lineup. I'm very excited for this matchup, to be completely honest with you guys.
Yeah, absolutely. And right now the fan vote is 83% in favor of Ruler's Authority. So while they did take the first L, looks like they're a fan favorite coming into it. Ronin sitting at around 17%. We're getting everything set up, so we will be right back. But if you do enjoy any of this broadcast or any of these matches and want to be a part of it yourself, please join our Discord, exclamation Discord in the chat. We'll get you all the links you need. For that, we will see you in just a second. Welcome back, Annihilation Nations. We got the maps, we got the bans, and we're heading into it. We're heading into Samoa. Bans are as follows. Ruler's Authority going to be banning out the Ana. Ronin going to be banning out the Mauga. So we won't see Mauga in his home term. Patty, with these bans, what are we thinking we're seeing?
Well, definitely when the Ana band came out, I instantly thought, okay, so they're going to be running Mauga. But Ronin Warriors definitely saw right through that and said, you're not playing that. So we're going to be definitely having some fun here, watching, see what these guys roll out on now.
Initiating match.
Absolutely. As we rolling into our first map, City Center here. You can see a few compositions played. Obviously Cat Bastion has been big into this meta. But we've also seen the emergence of this Sig Mizuki lineup here. If you've been watching any of the OWCS or Overwatch World Cup, you've been seeing that around a few times. And this is Tier 4 Overwatch, so the inspiration could bleed through. So,
Ready for
what are we
battle.
seeing with these team lineups now?
On Ruler's Authority side, it looks like we have a Ramatra lineup here with some Emre Sim, maybe just a Sim TP out of spawn, and a typical back line. You know, can't go wrong with a Kirilu. Ronin Warriors looking like we're gonna do a Diva comp with an orb. That's gonna be interesting. That's gonna be a lot of fun to watch. It looks like we're doing a Sim TP out. Nope, we are switching off of the Torb, going Cassidy, and same back line. Never can go wrong with Kirilu.
Yeah, absolutely. Kirilu, it looks like the Sim TP was just a jest. I guess we're not doing that on the side of Ruler's Authority, of course, being on the left in blue, and Ronin being in red.
Looks like we're gonna stick to Symmetra. Got this team fight going on here in this left lane, trying to take over this room. Oh, and Diva gets debacked very quickly here. Very quick pick by quick feed there. Fuji, however, falling dangerously low, having a block to stay alive. Great Suzu there by I Am Cat, saving that Ramatra, getting that team fight win. However, Formal falling very low does get dipped by Kraft. And it looks like we're still fighting for that point cap here. Pretty even on both sides, right about. And Kraft falling dangerously low, getting picked off by Fuji. However, Iron Cat does go down by Johama, and Fuji going dangerously low again. Gonna have to fall back. And it does fall down by PhD, and it looks like Ronin Warriors is gonna get that initial tap.
Yeah, that was actually a really great engage and disengage from that. You know, the Lucio keeping the point alive for Ronin Warriors. You know, you thought Rulers had that fight at the beginning of it, you know, taking out that Diva so fast as they do. But coming up in this next fight, you know, Joe Mama and Kraft having their ultimates, that's going to be a Pulse Bomb and a High Noon before any support ultimates can come online for it. On the opposite side, the wall is about 82%, so let's see how this fight breaks down.
We do see a swap, however, from the Diva to the Hazard. A very, very interesting swap. Looking more like more stability, maybe a comfort pick there. PhD taking out Quick Feet and Kraft taking out Iron Cat. Lot of picks there on the side of Ronin Warriors. Ronin Warriors able to sustain that point and get to 42%.
Yeah, Ronin Warriors right now in the driver's seat, but you gotta start talking about these Sim TPs, you know. From spawn, you thought we were gonna Sim TP out, didn't do it. That Sim TP right there looked a bit disjointed as only the tank goes in, gets isolated, but let's see if they can fix this up.
Ainu comes out, getting formal. Tune also getting picked off. There's two ults on the side of Ronin Warriors. Beat's almost approaching as well. Ruler's Authority has to start using some ults in order to get this flip out here. We got Wall, and we have High Noon, and we got Rush. So it looks like we're going to try and take over right side as well.
Yeah, it looks like they're heading right side. And actually, Formula gets the first pick off here.
Very good first pick. Beat comes out. High Noon also coming out. Craft going down. Wildcard taking down Tune. Even fight so far. Both Rushes coming out for both teams. And Formula's going to take out Wildcard and Roku are down. And PhD goes down, and the point does get flipped on the side of Ronin Authority.
Yeah, I'm not impressed with how Ronin used 3 ultimates. You know, you use the Beat to try to get that survivability after the cast was picked. You use the Kitsune very late in that fight. And it's looking like right now Ruler's Authorities have this momentum into their ult banks. You know, you have the Annihilation, you have the Wall, and Beat is still being built up. So right now, they could make a good headway into this scoreline.
Definitely. With Ruler's Authority having 3 ults and Ronin Warriors only having Pulse, which does not get anyone in there. So Pulse does go out, so no ult inside of Ronin Warriors. Wall comes out. Formal taking out Wildcard very quickly in that fight. Very quick early pick. Quick Feet falling pretty low, but blocking living. Does, however, have Annihilation, so Annihilation could come out here too. So far we're at a standstill, no picks as of right now. Quick Feet on to Craft, does get low and gets picked off by PhD. We're going to stabilize here for a second for Ronin and go back in. Looks like PhD is looking at that Sim. Oh, shifts their attention to that Cassie falling very low. Form is going to get picked off there. pick by PhD. Joe Mama's picking out the cat. Ruler's Authority is down by 2. Annihilation comes out. Hydun comes out by Craft. Doesn't pick anybody there, but Quick Feet does get that pick on hard. Annihilation's still going. Never mind right there. Overboard comes out. Doesn't touch anyone. High Noon comes out on the side of Ruler's Authority with Formal. Doesn't touch anyone there either. PhD falling dangerously low. He's getting very high. He's shredding through PhD there. Quick Feet taken out. PhD and everyone going down on the side of Ronin Warriors. Very good flip on the side of Ruler's Authority.
Yeah, Ruler's Authority's act coming up big there, you know, coming back from that deficit of 33 to win this here. You know, quite frankly, I think Ronin towards the end of that map in City Center, their ultimates weren't getting the value they wanted. You know, you did see the Rain that did capture 2 here, but there was no follow-up there. You could say that about the Beat, the Kitsune rushes, you know, High Noon, not always going to get the first pick here, or a lot of damage, you know. Very situational on that ult, but maybe you want to see that ult fight cleaned up a bit.
Yeah, High Noon could definitely take over a lot of spacing, so if it's done correctly, it could flip a team fight even without capturing any picks. It looks like both teams are going to try and take over height here. No swaps on either side, I believe. I'm a stick thing here. Very good Suzu by Cat. Formal taking out Drill Mama. Very good early pick for the side of Ronin Authority. PhD taking out Formal, so both teams even at the moment. Wildcard falling dangerously low. Walker unable to secure that pick though, but does get picked by Craft. Very good pick by Craft there. Road Authority trying to get some point pressure. Actually, it's gonna fall back here. Stabilize for a second due to being down a couple people.
Yeah, I want to point out real quick. Whoa, sorry, go ahead.
You're good.
Yeah, so look at the DPS lineup of Ronin right now. They really want to punish this Ramacha for stepping up any force. You have that cast that already does a bunch of front-loaded damage, and then you have the Reaper, you know, quite strong in his own right. So here we go into another team fight here. Suzu already being used.
And Walker is taking out PhD. Joe Mama taking out Cap though. Roku is falling down. Joe Mama taking out Tune. We got 3 up for Ruler's Authority. Ronin Warriors down 2. It looks like they're gonna die quickly and try to get that regroup though for Ruler's Authority. However, it looks like Quick Feet's gonna try and get some point pressure. Does get the flip. Oh, actually, never mind on the stability. They're gonna try and flip that there.
Yeah, they do get the point flip, so it's now 7-35. But Ronin immediately throwing them back and getting their point progress here. Coming up on the alt fights, you know, Kiriko on the side of Ruler's Authority is going to have his Kitsune first. Formal already has this High Noon, and we see these two teams once again for the 3rd time fighting for this high ground.
Looks like we have 3 ults coming out on the field. We have High Noon for Crab and Cat's Rush there. Quick Feet does secure the pick. And we're trying to get that point pressure once again. Cat just trying to live there on point. Does live, does get out. Out comes Wall. However, Quick Feet does go down. Very good pick by Roku. Looks like Ronin Warriors is going to secure the points. Ruler's Authority is not going to be able to get that flip here.
Yeah, right now Ronin's doing an interesting strat. You know, they get picked once, they fall back into points to get different angles on it, and as soon as Rulers engage on them, they can find 1 or 2 picks, and eventually that flips the fight where they're back in control. Here comes a Rain, and that's going to be a start of the fight.
The downboard does grab Quick Feet. Quick Feet falling dangerously low. Quick Feet trying to live. Hot Annihilation, however, I don't think that's going to be able to keep them up. And it looks like a team wipe for Ronin Warriors, and the second point goes to Ronin Warriors.
Yeah, now 1-1 heading into map point here. These two teams are going back and forth here. You know, that last map looked a lot more convincing in Ronin's favor. Ruler's Authorities on City Center looked a lot more. So we could be seeing a really good series coming out here in our Tier 4 standings.
It's going to be probably a long night with these teams with how this first map's going so far. But it's gonna be fun with tier 4 getting that $150 cash out prize. I would definitely be putting everything on the line for this. Looks like we're gonna have Sim TP out for both sides once again. Hazard comp, so no changes on the side of Ronin. Looks like we're gonna go back to that Reaper. It was very successful in that second map. No changes on the side of Ruler's Authority, except for May's actually coming. So that could be an interesting swap.
Yeah, it's an interesting swap. Wants to isolate, the tank or whoever they can with the kills. However, PhD already getting formal here.
Yeah, very good early pick there. Quickly calling dangerously low. Trying to stabilize, trying to fall back. Get that regroup. Unfortunately, first fight lost for the side of Ruler's Authority. And good Suzu for Iron Cat there. But it does fall down to PhD Flopper. PhD Flopper taken out. Quick feet Tune and Whopper falling behind very quickly as well. However, Ronin did not cap that point, so that's some time that they could have built maybe a good percentage there.
Yeah, absolutely. I think by the time Rulers get back in, it's going to be about 20% here. But we got to look at PhD Flopper right now, coming up huge for their team, finding first pickoffs on the formal 4 here, and almost close to range here. You see the isolation of Ramatra.
Very, very good pick by Ronin Warriors there on quick feet. Very unfortunate for Ruler's Authority, however. They're going to have to fall back and regroup once again.
Yeah, they're going to regroup once again. And I guess we can start talking about these ultimates right now. Ronin Warriors, foot on the gas. Rain almost here. High noon here. Of course, Kasune and Lucio beat pretty even. But here comes the next team fight. Let's see which ult gets popped first.
We do have our May ult on the side of Ruler's Authority, so that's the only thing we have so far for them. Quick Feet does get walled off, falls dangerously low. Downpour comes out, grabs Quick Feet, and also Formal, but does not secure the picks. Quick Feet and Whopper are taking out PhD and Domama. Ruler's Authority might be able to get this flip here, getting those 2 picks. And it looks like they are going to get the flip on the point with 60% on Ronin Warriors.
Yeah, it looked like Ronin didn't have the bite into their engage that they normally did, but here comes an early fight here with a Blizzard.
Blizzard, I did not catch if it caught anyone, but it did definitely take out that zoning and prevent that team fight there from happening, so a little bit of time in favor for Ruler's Authority.
Yeah, caught the Lucio, early team fight there, builds a little more percentage up, and you can start building towards that beat. Talking of which, 2 Kirikos having their Kitsune rush, and these teams look like they're ready to engage each other once more. Maywall comes out.
Out comes Kiri rush. We're Jomama and Wildcard having to get forced out. Looks like they're going to force point there, Ronin Warriors. Out comes Rush and Beat on the side of Ronin Warriors. PhD taking out Formal, however, Formal did take out Roku there, so very even fight so far. Domama taking out Whopper, Craft taking out Cat, taking out Wildcard. Annihilation comes out. Annihilation not able to do much, does take out Craft, but Ronin Warriors is going to secure that flip once again, as we have 54% on Ruler's Authority and 74% on Ronin.
Yeah, Quick Feet popping that Annihilation, maybe thinking he could get something out of that, win that team fight. But, Ronin, very strong here. We're coming up maybe in a final fight territory, and Cass and Reaper on the side of Ronin has these ults. Nothing in the ult bank except Whopper coming up on 86 for that May ult on the side of Rulers.
We do have High Noon and Blossom. Out comes High Noon. Doesn't look like it might be anything, but it is going to control that zoning, prevent Ruler's Authority from trying to have that point. Arms comes out for quick speed. Formal taking out Jomama. Very good pick for Ruler's Authority there. Quick Feet just trying to stabilize. Jomama gets taken out there. Unable to use Blossom, so they're going to have that for that next fight. Ruler's Authority does flip the point. Whopper taking out PhD, Roku taking out Whopper, and Formal good pick on Wildcard. So that's going to secure that fight for Ruler's Authority.
Yeah, you see PhD Flopper going in for formal like they've done so many times before. Did not get it. Beautiful keep up by I Am Cat here. And you know, with that, they pop the high noon. We're able to secure that point right now, 77%. And for Ruler's Authority trying to shut this map off, and here comes the next team fight.
This May ult is going to have to be very good here. Down comes Downpour. Does grab Quickfeet. Blossom comes out as well. Blossom not getting the kick, Formal does get grabbed. He gets catching Walker off guard there. Formal, they lose Authority getting 3 picks off the bat. And very good last pick by Quickfeet. And map 1 is going to go to Ruler's Authority.
Yeah, Ruler's Authority coming up with some big picks, big ultimates here. You know, that's really what won them this series.
Very good ult layering there. They were a little bit down on the ult advantage, but they managed to make it work. They probably had the downpour planned. They weren't very stacked. They didn't get many people grabbed, so Blossom was almost not as effective as it could have been, and they were able to just clean up everyone around.
Yeah, I couldn't have said it better myself, but that's all we have for the Samoa, folks. We're going to get set up for next map and let players do a quick restart. Catch you around. Hello, once again, Annihilation Nation. We got a new map. We got some new bans. It's gonna be Blizzworld, with Lou being banned from Ruler's Authority and Ronin banning out the Ram. We also got some substitutions. I'll let Patty take that away.
For the side of Ruler's Authority, they are keeping it the same. However, Joe Mama and Zingy did get switched out there. Very interesting bans. I'm excited to see what kind of changes Zingy's going to bring to the team of Ronin Warriors.
Yeah, new player, new strat, and especially on this map, a little less of that brawl that we did see on Samoa. You know, Blizzworld favoring dive. So the question has to be asked, though. We've seen a lot of cat bash, especially with the amount of maneuverability in this map. You think we're going to be seeing some of that?
I truly hope so. I love watching Cat Bastion or Cashton. It is honestly one of one of the most entertaining comps that has come with any of the new changes. Like Emre, another hit scan. Cashton, like that was not how Cat was meant to be played, but the creativity that these players have made and designed and came up with for Cashton, amazing. I love it. It's so fun and it's so funny as well.
Yeah, but I do hate to break the optimism. I'm looking at these team rosters, and it's looking like we probably are going to go with standard dive compositions, you know. Both teams running that Ana Brig backline.
Whatever. But it is going to be very good. I'm very excited to watch both of them. It looks like we have the Hazard again there on the side of Ronin. And since the Ram ban was out, it looks like we're going to have Sigma for a quick keep there.
Yeah, I don't hate the Sigma, you know, can do quite a lot, but we're going to head into this poke battle, so let's take it.
Looks like Ruler's Authority is going to try and take over that height there. Sigma making that rotation up there, but doesn't look like Ronin's going to try and get that up very quickly. Very good nade for Cat there, Arteme. And Quickfeed does take out Thingy very quickly. Ruler's Authority is going to be able to take over this height if they continue to move at this pace there. PhD flopper falling very low. Ronin Warriors does have to fall back. Craft gets picked up there on that rotation. And it looks like Ruler's Authority is already going to start getting progress on that cap point. PhD trying to re-engage, maybe try to keep that 6 more. Formal falling a little bit low, but does get stabilized. PhD still up on that height. Time live, does get picked off. Very good pick by Formal. And Ruler's Authority is going to be able to quick that, or cap that very, very quickly.
Yeah, 5 minutes 25 in the time bank, you know. Very impressive time bank for point 2 on this map. Very hard to cap. We have seen numerous teams in every level fail to even get it into third. But
yeah, very good. You have to be kind of creative to get past this point, because if you're not set up quickly, or at least first, you gotta put some stuff out. Tricks up the sleeves for that.
Yeah, absolutely. And we see PhD Flopper actually going on to this Dom, and I have not seen a lot of this character since the preseason tournament. Hasn't been too good in the meta pool, but we'll see how they do here.
I really like the Echo pick. If you're a good Echo, you can be a menace to backlines. And it looks like that's what Walker is going to try and do. It does get Zingy pretty low. Oh, out comes Coffee. He's going to copy Ash. However, Coffee does fall very low, unable to be really effective. Formal getting that pick on Wildcard. Zingy taking out Wafaru. PhD Flopper taking out Cat. And it looks like Formal's going to take out Craft. But I don't think Ruler's Authority is going to be able to make much progress. Nano coming out. Very interesting Nano there on a down fight. But however, Quickfeed's probably going to be able to fall back and regroup for this next fight.
Yeah, very interesting Nano there. I can't even say it was for survivability. Quickfeed was quite high. I was thinking we'd probably see a switch, but it does look like they're staying on the Ana here.
Potentially probably a panic Nano?
Maybe, or a response from Wildcat now they're at 17%. But we gotta look at this living weapon coming up. He's gonna have to face off against this OC and Flux.
Ronin Warriors stay in height. Like they're not gonna move there. Very good first pick on PhD Flopper by Quickfeed. Ronin Warriors very far back on that height. Probably gonna have to either fall back and avoid getting us up, Flux comes out, Card going down, Roku going down, and looking at progress. PhD might try to contest this here. PhD does not contest here, and Ruler's Authority does get that second point half, or second point objective.
Yeah, they get the second point objective, and they get it quite cheap, you know.
They did use all ults though, besides Rally, but Ronin Warriors has yet to pop anything here. We're coming up on almost all of them, besides Nano. And it looks like we're just going to be doing some poking out here. PhD very far up, quite a low as well. Out from Domino ult and also Emerald ult here. Getting Kune very, very low. Cat falling. And it looks like Ronin Warriors is going to try and protect this corner here, preventing any kind of progress made by Ruler's Authority.
Yeah, Ronin Warriors right now, it's going to be the battle of who can manage his shield health better, you know, the Dominant or the Sigma on the respective sides. Of course, here comes a Bob and an Engage.
And good early pick by Kraft on the formal. Quickly taking out Kraft. Bob still out, however, not making much, but does control the zone, allowing Ronin Warriors to continue to hold this corner, but it doesn't look like it's going to matter for much longer because they're making an aggressive push. Out early pick onto Wafu. Take back what I just said. Out comes Rally by Roku, and they're going to push right back up, preventing any of that space being taken again.
Yeah, I was talking about point 2 being difficult to own, but this composition, you know, favoring a very shield-heavy, very hard to break, especially with that break being able to contribute much to this fight. You saw both breaks popping a Rally, of course. But, however, the Oh, go ahead.
Sorry, I was going to say, I do like the Sigma preferably over the Domina, especially with Ruler's Authority having a Sojourn. It's able to spread that shield very quickly, but it's turning into very, very difficult there. Poppy comes out, does get shut down very quickly. Out from Nano as well. Oh. On that one. No, Nano did not come out there.
Yeah, Nanodoc coming out there, but we gotta look at these ultimates, you know, right now. You know, PhD Flopper coming up with that Panopticon. We got Kraft coming up with Bob again and Living Weapon. On the opposite side, we do see some switch-ups here. We see Wofford going over to the Venture here.
Very good pick to get into that back line, especially with them running the double hit scan. He might be a little bit more successful, and he is. And he's going to take out Roku right there. And out comes Bob once again. Very good build on that Bob, very quick. Quickfeet did fall in that previous fight there, and Ronin Warriors is still going to be able to hold this corner. So they are putting up quite a bit of lives to hold this corner. They do not want them making any kind of progress past this.
Yeah, that's a question mark from PhD Flopper, really going, basically touching their spawn. See how that affects them in the next fight, though, as good Park Grass is made without the tank.
Out comes Flux. He grabs the out comes Domino. Only grabbing Formal, but Overclock is going to shred right through that Domino. And Formal falls very low. Does get picked off by Kraft. Kraft also taking out Tume. And it looks like Ronin Warriors might be able to stabilize this once again, but it looks like Quickfeet is on Kraft. Does take out Kraft, but it's looking like another regroup inside of Ruler's Authority.
Yeah, Ruler's Authority is also making some quick changes. Formal going off that hit scan, which I've known for the following maps, going on to that Genji. So a Genji Venture DPS line. See how that cooks in this next team fight.
Double flex lineup into a double hit scan lineup. Very, very interesting call there. Both want to either fight very close or very far. So that's just a matter of who can take that space first. Nano comes out, Kraft taking out Waffle. And out comes Juno Ray. Just trying to make that spacing. Nano runs out on PhD. Good stun by Quickfeet there. PhD falling very low. Quickfeet does secure that kill. Formal going off in the back line, taking out Wildcard and Ronin. Craft does take out Quick Feet, however, and it looks like we all only have our supports and walkthrough trying to stay alive against this Bob. They do stay alive, however, Craft is trying to get that pick on Sunday there. Walkthrough moves on up and takes out Craft, does get taken out, however, by PhD. And out comes Rally, and there's no other contest, but very good push for Ruler's Authority. Almost full cops it there. Very, very excited to see how Ronin Warriors takes this attack.
Yeah, absolutely. Ruler's Authority now know where they need to hold and how far they have to make any type of mistakes. But we gotta talk about these players. Kraft taking a wonderful, like a sneaky angle. To be honest, like if anybody saw that, that could have been an easy burn. Did get 2 in that second to last fight, and really has come up big. But also Formal, I didn't know they had a Genji on them.
I honestly did not know that either. I've played a couple quick play games with them, nothing serious, but very good Genji taking out that back line. However, I think it was a little too late for those swaps. They made those swaps made Hitscan very uncomfortable because Hitscan wants to play from a distance, and those guys want to play very, very close. So if they're able to make that space and get up on them, they should be able to win that fight. But making that space and taking over that is the hard part there.
Yeah, talking about the hard part with this Kiriko coming out. You got a Kiriko Brig backline. Gonna be a bit more difficult to kill, especially with the Suzu. But let's talk about this Hanzo on the opposite side. Don't see that too often.
5, 4.
It is a good map for Hanzo. With being a one-shot character, if you get lucky shooting down that lane and picking off a couple people, it could very detrimental. However, if Ronin Warriors knows how to kind of kite it, it can make it almost useless, unfortunately. But it looks like Quick Feet, Formal, and Cat are going to try and hold this height here while the whole side of Ronin Warriors is going to try and rotate through that room. We might be looking at a dive to height. We do get a dive to height there by PhD. It does get taken down to very quickly. However, Quick Feet does fall down as well. And due to that, PhD is going to secure that pick on Cat. Very good pick there by PhD. Creeping up on that point here. A very good nade onto PhD, falling dangerously low. Good Suzu by Wildcard, saving PhD. Wafu does fall down from Craft. And Formal falling very low on that height though. Looks like Rose Authority hasn't given up quite yet. Formal does fall down, but with a good pick onto Wildcard there. And looks like Ronin Warriors is almost about to fully cap that, and they do. Quick Feet falling very low. Roku in that final pick, and looks like Ruler's Authority is definitely gonna have to fall back or get that quick regroup because everybody fell. Good team fight on the side of Ronin Warriors here.
Yeah, absolutely. You gotta talk about that Ana, getting those nades, it definitely helps keep PhD Whopper at bay. However, already set up, was not able to get him fully dislodged, and we see him again stepping forward.
Ronin Warriors was quick to get set up here on the height, but it looks like Ruler's Authority is going to try and take it back. As PhD is left on height. Good stun from Quick Feet. Nano comes out onto Formal. So far, no picks. Formal, scratch that. Formal takes out Craft, and Wafu cleaning up that pick on Roku. And it looks like Ruler's Authority is going to try and hold them here. Zingy falling very low, getting staggered. Very good stagger for Ruler's Authority, forcing Ronin Warriors to take a little bit more time to get that full regroup going. I don't think we have any swaps here yet, but we are coming up on some ults for sure.
Yeah, we're coming up on ults, but one thing I want to pay attention to is right now, Roku does not have that Sanctuary, and on the opposite side, Formal does have the living weapon ready and walking and ready to rip it.
And it comes out, but very good rotation on Ronin, kind of making it difficult for Formal to get any kind of value with his ult. Does get Cindy very low, but unfortunately not enough. And out comes Bob, very good teammates there. making that Bob almost ineffective on height. Formal taking out Craft. Looks like we got a pick by Wildcard on the Cat. Quick Feet taking out Roku, and they're going to try and make some progress here. PhD is taking over that height. However, they might be able to stabilize. They do, and Quick Feet secures that pick on the Wildcard, getting PhD very low. Forcing him out. Zingy also getting very low. Good pick by Formal there.
Yeah, an expensive fight coming out from Ruler's Authority using 3 of their ults. Of course, they still have Flux. But on the opposite side, right now, Ronin has 3. They have a DPS, they have a support, and they have Rain. So let's see how they get this done as they look like they're setting up for the next fight.
It's going to be a definitely very, very good fight if they are able to pull it off and do these ults very effectively. They're going to have to layer them perfectly. Out comes Emrai ult on the side of Ronin Warriors. Looking for a pick. Whopper falling very low to it. Does get picked. Zingy taking out Wafu. Quick Feet, however, making that quick trade onto Wildcard. Even fight so far. Once again, Sunday falling low. It does get picked here. Craft taking out Cat. Both supports down on the side of Ruler's Authority. And, however, they did lose their takes on the side of Ronin. And huge Flux coming out on the side of Quick Feet, taking out Roku and also securing the pick on Zingy. And it looks like Ruler's Authority is going to be able to stabilize and hold once again on this very, very difficult point.
Yeah, stabilize and build ult. You know, Toonie did go down that fight, but basically at Nano right now, on the opposite side, Formal, you know, maybe one or two good bursts with a nade. You have a Nano living weapon. It looks like both teams are setting up. Of course, PhD Flopper still has Rain, Roku still has Sanctuary, so these are going to be the ults you're going to look for in this fight.
For sure, for sure. Looks like Ronin's gonna try and rotate through height once again, try to do that same approach. They do have down 4, so maybe looking at a down 4, secure height. Just kind of doing some poke battle here. Good stun there onto a huge pick by Quick Feet onto PhD. And looks like they're gonna have to fall back and regroup here.
Yeah, it looks like they're gonna try to, I was gonna say stabilize in that room, because right now there's 40 seconds left on the cart.
And they're gonna take out 2. Whopper is the only one to go down on the side of Ruler's Authority here. But they quickly turn that around, and we have 30 seconds remaining, like we said here, and it's gonna be very difficult. We still have a lot of ults on the side of Ronin Warrior, so it could be an overtime fight to get to this final objective. Ruler's Authority only having 2, we're approaching up on 2 others, so it's gonna be pretty even. Formal coming out with the Emrai ult, taking that very quickly here. Flux coming out as well. Security pick on Wildcard. Craft, I'm not quite sure what Craft died to, but Roku trying to get some point pressure, and out comes Ray, but it is too late for Ronin because Ruler's Authority is going to full hold them there on that second objective.
Yeah, Ruler's Authority coming up 2-0 on them in the series. You know, Formal coming up with that early pick into that fight really stunted the spear of Ronin here.
For sure, for sure. Them acting very quick, playing first, not letting Ronin Warriors make any kind of space to make any kind of plays, stuffing them into their chokehold there. It's very, very good play on the side of Ruler's Authority. Definitely the fight-winning play right there.
Yeah, fight winning and map completed. It's 2-0 in the series. Ruler's Authorities are up. We'll catch you right after this intermission report. Welcome back, Annihilation Nation. We're on match point in favor right now of Ruler's Authority. Ronin taking us to Esperanza, looking to get back into this series. You know, don't mind the scoreline of it being 2-0. These two teams are neck and neck at each other right now. Current bans for this map are going to be the Hazard on the side of Ruler's Authority and the Tracer. And of course, we do have some substitutions. I'll let Patty take that away.
No substitutions on the side of Ruler's Authority. You know what? When it's working. Don't break it. But Ronin Warriors making a couple more changes, just trying to figure out any way to get them on the side of not being on match point. But we have Wildcard going to tank here, Glare coming in for DPS, and Kraft actually getting moved down to support. So almost an entirely new lineup. So I have no idea what to expect. A Tracer ban is huge on this map because Tracer's just annoying on this map. So very good ban on the side of Ronin Warriors. Rules Authority taking out that Hazard. Looks like they were target banning maybe a comfort pick on the side of Ronin, but they did swap that out, so almost completely ineffective there on the side of Ronin.
Yeah, absolutely. Two interesting bans right now. And, you know, like you said, Ronin switching anything up to try to get that momentum back in their sail. And if there's anywhere to get that back, it is push.
Yes, push can go either way. It's either full cap or it's neck and neck. It's very, very excited for this next map here. Got a couple picks in, so you can kind of see what we're looking at here. Looks like we have another Ramatra comp on the side of Ruler's Authority with a Cassidy and a Genji, and if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Lucio and Kiri as the back line, and on the side of Ronin Warriors, no tank pick quite yet, but we're looking at a May, Cassidy, Reinhardt. Very, very interesting pick there on the side of Ronin Warriors. Unfortunately getting insta-counter there by the Ram, but might be able to make it work. And we have a Lucio and a Baptiste. Looks like both teams, Ruler's Authority getting set up very quickly there on the height. Ronin Warriors to the fight though.
Kind of late to the fight, but making an excellent rotation going over to this bot side.
Yeah, both teams basically flipping map. We just definitely did a little ring around the rosy there. Formal trying to poke out anyone. Wow, Ronin Warriors making some good progress already. Making Ruler's Authority have to kind of really fight this to contest it because they're already dropping the score and getting some progress there on that cart. Quickly getting pretty low. No hits yet for either team. It looks like they're just holding a bunker comp. Like, you gotta come to us. Tonight, however, does get that first pick on the Kraft. And Walker taking out Glare. And Formal taking out Roku. And Quick Feet going down, but it's not going to be enough for Ronin because Ruler's Authority is going to be able to steal that bot back and make that progress.
Yeah, they're making the progress, but I gotta have a question mark of, like, why didn't you engage sooner? You know, you let a composition that you could brawl pretty much the same with get a quite hefty progress, and, you know, also a quite hefty ult bank. You know, Wildcard is sitting here almost to shatter, Glare at 80, Zingy at 80 as well, and Bat has that window, Zingy finding a pick, so let's see how these fights break down.
Very early pick on the side of Ronin there, taking out Formal. We're still trying to make some progress there. Walker trying to get that lead, but does not. And Ronin Warriors is going to be able to take that bot back. They've rotated very quickly to the height. Zingy getting Cryo getting forced out. Out comes Baptiste window. Zingy falling very, very low. May ult coming out as well. Not really grabbing anyone. Annihilation right back in their face, taking out 3. Wildcard Glare and Kraft going down to Quick Feet and Roku. 4-piece on the side of Ruler's Authority. Very good play by Quick Feet there. And they're going to take that bot back one more time. Still not in the lead, but definitely going to capture that after this one.
Yeah, that was an expensive fight for Ronin. You throw the Blizzard, you throw the back window, trying to burn Quick Feet down, but does not get it. And here we come, Shatter, locked and loaded.
rush as well. Walker falling dangerously low. Blair taking out Formal, but does not matter. Cat's going to take out Wildcard there, and they're going to keep on pushing there on the side of Ruler's Authority.
Yeah, absolutely. Ruler's Authority making quick work of that fight, getting checkpoint, and they're on their way. Only using 2 ults. That was pretty inexpensive, you know. And they have the answer to both the Shatter and the DPS ult, as you see the Ryan trying to set up to get clear of this high ground.
Out comes Beat. We're going to look at an aggressive Beat here. And Blade. Blade taking out Baptiste here. Reformal taking out Zinni. Huge Blade with a tremendous amount of space. Beat just stabilizing, making sure to make that blade more effective. Wildcard very low there, just having to stabilize for a second, making some good progress for the side of the Authority. And looks like Ronin's gonna try and push up, make that space, take it back. However, Wildcard falling dangerously low. Out comes to the side of Ronin Warriors. Nothing quite happening quite yet. Still at a standstill. Out comes the solo shatter. On the Formal. And it looks like they're going to use that to make that momentum. So down goes Tune, and shortly after Cat. And down goes Walker. So Ronin Warriors is going to be able to take that back. Maybe an expensive play onto that Cassidy with that solo shatter, but it definitely got the momentum going for Ronin Warriors' favor.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, solo shattering that Cassidy was an absolutely important thing you had to do in that fight if you were running Warriors. But coming up on that, they take away forward spawns, but, you know, Ruler's Authority easily going to take this high ground once again as fight starts progressing.
For sure. Out comes Freeze, and out comes High Noon, but does get killed before it's becoming effective, but that Peace window as well coming out on the side of Ronin Warrior, so we have 2 ults that got burned quite quickly there, but was able to get picked off. Ronin Warrior is going to continue pushing.
Absolutely. Ronin Warriors very much well could get checkpoint here. Probably not going to get it out of scratch mode here, but can start taking these angles to set up for their push into second.
And that solo shatter made me laugh so hard. Caught me off guard. I don't see that anywhere, but alright, out of Annihilation, and quick pick onto Roku and Blair falling down very quickly after. Looks like Ronin Warriors is going to try and fall back and just stabilize while they rebuild ults and come back for this next fight.
Yeah, absolutely. And they're going to come back fast. They did get that forward spawn and a little bit of percentage here. As you see most of the team now, as forward spawns has been nice.
Out comes High Noon, doesn't really get anything, but out comes Genji Blade and Rush on the side of Ruler's Authority. Now, very quickly, very good picks there. May getting cryo forced out. Does get staggered a little bit. Very good for the side of Rose Authority. And Rose Authority is going to be able to start setting up for this next fight and make some progress on that bot. Maybe trying to either get that forward spawn secured or attempt a full push.
Yeah, you don't hate that if you were Ronin Warriors. You know, you got 2 ults out. You got that Blade and the Rush out. So that really helps you with your ult bank because you're coming up with 4.
Out comes High Noon, definitely going to help with some spacing, but it doesn't look like it's going to capture anybody. Just looking to get some damage in. Out comes Baptiste window. Doesn't get anyone very low. Wildcard taking out Cat, however. I am mistaken there. It looks like Ronin might be able to get this lift back. Actually, Roku's falling down. I think he's taking out Walker, though. Another solo shatter. Wildcard taken out quickly there. Taken out Ziggy. So it looks like Wildcard is definitely just going to be looking to get any kind of picks or quick team fights done with that shatter. Might see a huge shatter here soon, but I love the solo shatters too.
Yeah, as Ronin only needs to get his one, and then his team wins the fight. We've seen that. It's 2 for 2. It's written in the stars. But talking about written in the stars, you know, May with their ult on zinging, and we have beat, so Ronin Warriors looking in a good position to start making some progress here.
For sure. Looks like both teams just kind of stabilizing, doing some poke damage. Looking like Wildcard's gonna try and take over that height very quickly. Out comes May ult. It doesn't look like he captures anyone, but down goes Cat and Walker, and Blair taking out Quick Feet. So team win, or fight win for the side of Ronin Warriors here. Out. Cassie High Noon does get forced out and is ineffective, so unfortunately very expensive ult wasted there for Ruler's Authority.
Yeah, quite an ambitious High Noon. Your team was already down 4 players, but we all have those moments we're talking about, which on the opposite side for Ronin, they do have their High Noon, they still have their beat. Of course, Window building quite quickly up. And with this Reinhardt going to be taking the front of the damage, you know, we would probably see it in the middle of this fight.
For sure. This is what I love about Push. It seems like one team is, you know, leading the team, and we're gonna get a quick tap there, but then another team can right back up and flip that. Out comes Maywall, not really walling anyone off, but looks like Wildcard is gonna try and take over that height. Out comes High Noon. Nothing coming out. Annihilation also coming out here. Beat as well on the side of Ronin Warriors. Tune falling and Formal falling. And looks like Ronin might be able to win this team fight here, but we have Quick Feet.
Who's gonna touch?
Quick Feet stealing the bot! Stealing the bots!
That was brilliant by Quick Feet.
Causing the C9! Huge play by Quick Feet and Ruler's Authority. Just take that bot back. You don't get to push this anymore. Despite Ronin Warriors winning that last fight. Awesome play there. Awesome play.
Yeah, you can see, you know, Quick Feet. You don't have to win the fight, you know, it's just about the objective. Runs away with it. And, you know, that's going to be a clean sweep, mind the pun, for Ruler's Authority, winning that 3-0 against Ronin. Seeing if we have any honorable mentions or...
For sure. Very entertaining game, especially that last fight, or that last map there. I always love Solo Shatters. As a Mercy one trick by heart. I know it's so painful. But I'm very excited. Very excited for these next games that we see from Ronin and Rulers.
Absolutely. These two teams quite strong. But that's going to be all we wrote for us. If you enjoyed any of this, do remember to follow or sub to the Annihilation channel. And if you want to be part of any future tournaments that we do host or just involved in this great little community that we have, do !Discord to get all the links and everything you need to set that up. With that being said, my name's Alex. That's been Patty, Space on Production, and we thank you for stopping by.